Back on Sportsbet, we continue with college football. USC and Alabama. Alabama 11.5, 53.5. Neutral site, it's from Jerry's World. And you can make a great case here for Alabama because Nick Saban has been dynamite on opening day. 9-0 straight up, 8-1 ATS in season openers since arriving in 2007. And Teddy, a lot of these are blowouts against big-name programs.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at the teams that they've beaten. Let's see, they beat Clemson on a neutral by 24. They beat Michigan on a neutral by 27. Virginia Tech on a neutral by 25. Wisconsin on a neutral by 18 last year. You know, it's a real good track record worthy of support. That being said, none of those teams, and when they beat Clemson wasn't as good as they are right now. Then when they beat Michigan, it was in Michigan, had Rich Rod, and was a different story. None of those teams are necessarily as good as USC. And certainly from a talent perspective, I got issues with USC, a number of issues with USC, but from a talent perspective, none of those teams, Clemson, Michigan, Virginia Tech, Wisconsin, you can go on, there are a handful of others, while going 9-0 straight up, 8-1 against the spread. I don't think any of them come close to matching USC's athleticism.
Yes. Now, what do we do about Clay Helton here? He's got new coordinators, and, as you mentioned, I don't know, can we trust him and can we trust the talent?
Well, look, I mean, USC, there was a period of time in the Pete Carroll era when they were the best program in the country. And every year, USC would have not number 2, not number top 5, they had the number 1 recruiting class in the country. And it was, in fact, when USC went into decline following Carroll's departure, that's when Alabama started landing those type of classes every year, and it hasn't stopped. The epitome of an always reloaded program. And certainly, given Saban's track record, we trust him to have his team ready. You asked me about Clay Helton. Look, USC's program is not what it was. Helton is a first-time head coach. I know he was an interim coach last year. I know he coached the bowl game a couple years ago. He has a pair of new coordinators. He's never done this before. And USC is not really reloading the way they once were. This defense is young and inexperienced. They got one upperclassman on the defensive line, a guy who was a third stringer at Utah and then transferred over to USC. The entire defense is without a returning senior starter. And again, from a talent perspective, I said earlier in the show, it's not always about how many seniors you have. But when you're going up against a team like Alabama, sometimes it is about how much senior leadership you have. I think they're going to have a tough time stopping the Bama running game. And their inexperience at quarterback won't help matters when they fall behind.
And you have to give Saban and Kiffin a lot of credit. I called him the Ashton Kutcher of college football. Kiffin has a horrible resume. He keeps getting great jobs. But they continue to break in new quarterbacks year after year, and they still continue to win. So we're used to smash mouth football as well with Alabama. How about these wide receivers that they have?
Oh, yeah. You got Robert Foster. You got Ardarius Stewart. And, of course, the picture here of Calvin Ridley. That's a nice 1, 2, 3. I don't know if there's a team in the country that has 3 better wide receivers than Alabama does. If the quarterback play works out for Bama here, boy, these downfield targets are likely to give USC trouble and give other teams trouble as the season progresses because this is a loaded receiving core for Alabama, which, given their, we've seen Bama send first rounders in the NFL draft at wide receiver as well as so many other positions. But I'm always surprised when the top-notch talent goes to Alabama to play receiver. You just get so many more opportunities to catch the ball in other venues.
Yep. Max Brown, ranked. He's the quarterback for USC, ranked ahead of Goff as number 1 in the nation coming out of high school in 2013. So USC thinks they have the real deal at quarterback there in this one. Last game.
Oh yeah, this is hang on, Max Brown. He's a big kid. He's 6'5". What's he? 240 or something. He's a big guy, and I don't know how mobile he is. And against Alabama, you want some size, but boy, you're going to want some mobility because that Alabama front seven, they're going to put pressure on any opposing quarterback, and certainly has the potential to be a problem for USC on Saturday night.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Hey, Sportsbet viewers, when you guys are all done over there kicking some ass and taking names, come on over and listen to Double J and Brenner.
Don't forget about us.